Welcome friends. Let us go for the discussion of another group of family. That family generally known as inert gases, otherwise the noble gases. The other names present for the noble gases or the inert gases is like this. It is also known as 18th group because in the long form periodic table, if you go on giving numbering for each particular group, it is having a position of 18. Hence, it is also known as 18th group. And as for the outermost electronic configuration is concerned, if the valence electron enters into valence shell electron enters into s and p orbitals, then it is said to be A group, and it is consisting of total 8 electrons. On behalf of that, it is also known as 8A group. Similarly, here it doesn't participate in any kind of chemical combination. Hence, the valency of the elements present in this group is 0. On behalf of that, it is also known as 0 group. And as being it is ideal for many of the groups in chemical properties, ideal implies it is sluggish, it is non-reactive. Hence, a reference group like that consideration is present, and it is also known as what? Inert gas, noble gas, because it is having octet configuration, and also known as non-reactive gases group. These are the different names wise once again: 18th group, 8th A group, 0 group, noble group, inert group, non-reactive gases group. These of all are the different names present for the noble family of the gases. Here what happens is, these elements neither undergoes any kind of oxidation in general, similarly nor undergoes any kind of reduction. That is, they are not interested to participate in any variety of chemical combination. And moreover, these are not participates in combustion, neither supports combustion nor participates in combustion. These are the properties associated with this group, and moreover, all the elements present in this group are gases. All the elements present in this group are gases, and these elements are like this. Those are helium, He, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and the radon. These are the elements. These all elements are having outermost electronic configuration similarity. That similarity is maintaining Ns2Np6 electronic configuration. All are having 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. Due to having of 8 electrons, these are appears to be very unreactive. Hence, this particular configuration is said to be the inert gas configuration, because these are inert. The common feature present in this particular group of elements is outer electronic configuration. That electronic configuration is Ns2Np6. Hence, this configuration is known as inert configuration. Now we will go in detail related to the properties associated with the inert gas elements. The general electronic configuration of the noble gases is Ns2Np6, total having of 8 electrons in the nth orbit, that is valency shell. Hence, it is said to be the inert gas elements. Whereas the list of elements, corresponding atomic numbers, and the electronic configuration and the names, helium, symbolically it is represented by He. Here, as for electronic configuration is concerned, it is not maintaining any kind of p orbitals. It is somewhat exceptional in configuration, that is just 1s2. Electron enters into the s orbital, there is no electron in p orbital, because first orbit is not having any kind of p orbital in it. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, Xe, and radon are in. Whereas the atomic numbers are 2, 8, 18, 36, 54, and the 86. Whereas electronic configuration is first one 1s2, second one 2s2 followed by 2p6, 3s2 followed by 3p6, and here 4s2, 4p6. It is also having 3d10, and here 5s2, 5p6. It is having 4d10. Similarly here 6s2, 6p6. It is having 5d10 followed by 4f14. These are the electronic configurations, and these are the names and the corresponding atomic weights and symbolic representation, and the common feature validity is NS2NP6, which is valid for everything, but exceptionally helium. Helium is not having any kind of p orbital because it is just restricted to the first orbit. First orbit is not having any kind of p orbital. Thus, the general electronic configuration of the noble gases is NS2NP6 is like this. The atomicity of the noble gases is 1, implies these are monoatomic gases, just atoms. There is no molecule. These are all are just atoms. Helium is monoatomic, radon is also monoatomic, and radon is radioactive element. This is symbol for radioactive. Whereas this one is special in properties. Whereas these are associated with the atomic representation. These are represented with the atomicity of 1. Single atoms are present. Single atom always associated with the symmetrical electronic distribution. No place is there where electron density is higher in the atom. There is no place where electron density is lower in the atom. Everywhere we will find the symmetrical electronic distribution. So therefore here what happens is the net dipole moment associated with the atoms, any of the atom, especially noble gases, is 0. Hence, just they are associated with the induced dipole, that is momentary dipole moment. They are not having any kind of permanent dipole moment. Due to this particular reason, in between the atoms of the noble gases, attractions are present. Those attractions are weakest attractions, and those attractions are known as van der Waals attractions. Thus, what we can claim from this atomicity of 1 is, these are atoms. Atoms are having symmetrical electronic distribution. Due to having of symmetrical electronic distribution, dipole moment is 0. These are not having any kind of permanent dipole moment, but momentarily, incidentally, they may have induced dipole moment, that is very weakest dipole moment. So therefore, whenever the atoms comes close to one another, in between them, weakest attraction forces are present. That forces of attractions are very weakest, and those forces of attractions are known as van der Waals forces of attraction. The force of attraction that is present between the gaseous molecules of any of the inert gases are very weakest, and that force of attraction is said to be just van der Waals forces of attraction. General properties related to the noble gas elements. The first one is atomic radii. Radii is the distance present between the nucleus as well as the outermost orbit. But whereas these molecules, these particular atoms involves in van der Waals attractions with the other atoms, hence the radii measured is van der Waals radii. And moreover, from top to bottom, as we discussed in the electronic configuration, orbit number is increasing. As orbit number increases, distance present between the nucleus and the orbit, outermost orbit increases. So therefore what we can claim is atomic radii, that is van der Waals radii, and van der Waals radii increases from top to bottom. Thus what we can write is van der Waals radii increases. Second one is melting point. This melting point and boiling point both are depends on intermolecular force of attraction. Whereas that intermolecular, here better to say interatomic forces of attraction. These forces of attractions are weak attractions, and those are van der Waals forces of attraction. These are van der Waals forces of attraction. But the strength of van der Waals force is also depends on the size of the atom. If the atom size is bigger, like this, the strength of attraction increases. So therefore strength of attraction increases implies the corresponding temperature required is also increases. Hence what we can claim is from top to bottom, as the size of the atom increases, the van der Waals forces of attractions increases. So in order to break these attractions, it requires higher energy. That higher energy is possible at high temperature. Hence, what we can write is melting point increases. Similarly, boiling point also increases. And in the same way, enthalpy of vaporization, energy required to convert liquid state of material into gaseous state is said to be latent heat of vaporization, that is enthalpy of vaporization for unit quantity. This also increases. Thus here melting point increases. Boiling point increases. Enthalpy of vaporization also increases. The next one is solubility. Let us go for solubility. Solubility also depends on forces of attraction, which is once again here deciding is sizes of the atom. So therefore what we can claim is solubility also increases. Whereas let us go for ionization potential. Energy required to make an electron free from the gaseous atom is known as ionization potential. Whereas as size increases from top to bottom, net attraction strength between the nucleus and the outermost orbit decreases. Hence, removal of electron becomes easy. So therefore, ionization potential decreases. Similarly, electron affinity, energy liberated when electron added to the gaseous atom is known as electron affinity. But these are having inert gas configuration from the beginning. These are not interested to take up any kind of electron. Hence, what we can claim is electron affinities are zero. Electron affinities of inert gases are zero. Whereas spectrum, every particular inert gas element will give a characteristic spectrum which is having its own different colored lines, that is characteristic spectrum. Whereas as a part of solubility we can also say one particular word, all the inert gases are adsorbed over the coconut charcoal except helium, because the coconut charcoal is having cavities. That cavity size is higher compared to the smaller atom, that is helium. Hence helium can't fit in that trap. Helium is very smaller atom except helium. Remaining all the elements, neon, argon, krypton, xenon can be adsorbed over the coconut charcoal. And the last one is the other name of all inert gases is aerogens, because they are available in the air. These are generated from the air. These are collected from the air, hence these are known as aerogens. The abundance of the elements in the air are like this. Argon is most abundant, whereas next to argon is neon, then krypton, then helium and the xenon is present. So therefore abundancy. Whereas we can remember this one with a logic, that is 4 to 1, 2, 3, 5. These of all are prime numbers and these are even numbers 4 and 2. 2 is also prime number, that is 4 to 1, 3, 5. In this way, we can remember the abundance of the aerogens, that is noble gases present in air. The main source of inert gas is air, whereas as being these are generated from the air, these are known as aerogens. And though they are available in air, the quantity of availability is very less. On behalf of the available percentages of the noble gases in air, these are also known as rare gases. The other sources related to the inert gases, otherwise the rare gases, are air, natural gas, spring water and the radioactive minerals. These are the other sources where from the noble gases can be obtained. Whereas the main source air is consisting inert gases, the first 5 except the radioactive inert gas, it is consisting helium, neon, argon, krypton and the xenon. There is no radon, because radon is a radioactive element, it is not present in the atmosphere. And almost all 1% of the atmospheric volume is having the inert gases. Out of 100, 1 by 100, that is 1% of volume of the total atmosphere is having the inert gases, and the main constituent of the inert gas is argon. Argon is the main constituent of the inert gas obtained from the free air, otherwise atmospheric air. Helium is assumed to be the radioactive disintegration product of radioactive elements like radium, thorium, and the uranium. Whereas uranium 92-238, after participation of radioactive disintegration, it is converted to thorium 90-234 followed by helium. Similarly, 90-230 of thorium results into helium followed by radium 88 and the 226. This radium 88, 226 and once again disintegration of alpha particle, that is helium, results into radon 86 and the 222. Thus, helium is believed to be the radioactive disintegration product of many of the materials like uranium, thorium as well as the radium. Whereas, it is also present in the radioactive materials like pitchblende as well as the monazite in the adsorbed form, and that process is said to be occlusion. Yes, occlusion process in the form of occluded hydrogen, nothing but what? Adsorbed hydrogen, adsorbed helium. Helium is present in the radioactive materials like pitchblende as well as the monazite. Discovery of the noble gases. Noble gases discovery was occurred early before of the compounds of the noble gases, whereas helium is discovered by Thierry Janssen and the Norman Lockyer, whereas neon is discovered by Ramsay and the Morris. Argon and krypton both at a time discovered by Rayleigh and the Ramsay, and radon is discovered by Dohn. Whereas history of the noble gas compounds start in such a way that noble gases compounds are having very high ionization potential. Noble gases are not interested to lose any kind of electron because they are stable due to inert gas configuration. The ionization potential of xenon, because from top to bottom the atomic size increases, as a result removal of electron becomes little bit easy, so therefore xenon taken into account. Oxygen molecule as well as xenon both are having almost a similar ionization potential. There is a famous scientist in 1962, Berthollet, first prepared a stable compound of the noble gases related compound. The idea came from platinum hexafluoride and reaction with oxygen. Oxygen undergoes oxidation, molecular oxygen, and that leads to the formation of O2PtF6. Whereas here O2 is present in positive +1 oxidation state, platinum hexafluoride is having -1 oxidation state, it forms a coordination complex. Oxygen molecule related ionization potential is 1175 kilojoules per mole, whereas xenon atom is also having almost all nearer of the ionization potential. Then he got an idea, why can't this platinum hexafluoride is combined with the xenon? In that way, research work was started and he got success in generation of a new compound of the xenon, that is noble gas compound. This is the first stable noble gas compound prepared in the chemical literature, and that one is xenon platinum hexafluoride. Then xenon related compound combination with more electronegative elements and more electronegative elemental combination came into activeness. Thus xenon is allowed to combine with oxygen selenium hexafluoride, xenon is allowed to combine with oxygen tellurium pentafluoride. Like this, some of the possible compounds are also prepared. Now the research came into the basic level, why not with the most electronegative elements like fluorine and chlorine combines with the xenon, and in that way active research work came into existence. Thus fluorides as well as oxides and the oxyfluorides are prepared. But whereas next electronegative elements like chlorine is also more electronegative, nitrogen is also more electronegative, but these are less electronegative compared to fluorine as well as the oxygen. Hence, compounds of xenon are compounds of noble gases with the nitrogen, with the chlorine are not present. Now we have three varieties of compounds for the discussion in case of noble compounds, and those are xenon related compounds. Those are fluorides and the oxides, and a combination of fluorine oxygen with xenon, that is xenon oxyfluorides. These are the compounds eligible for our discussion of the noble compounds. Along with the xenon hexafluoride and along with the oxygen selenium pentafluoride and the other more electronegative anions, the xenon related compounds are there. In the same way, in the discharge tube, otherwise spectroscopically when analysis occurs, there are certain compounds which are momentarily existing. Those are helium 2 plus, He, hydrogen plus 1, argon 2 plus. Similarly, helium combinations with mercury are also suspected for its existence. Mercury, helium 10, etc. are expected to be present momentarily in the discharge tube equipment. And moreover, helium 2 plus is very unstable. Molecular orbital theory doesn't support the existence of helium 2. The zero group elements also forms clathrates as well as the interstitial compounds. Clathrates are those compounds in which organic or inorganic solids, while they are arranging in a specific manner, they produce some space. Within that space, the nominal size containing atom can go and fit. Such kind of compounds are said to be the clathrate compounds, especially argon, krypton, which are having higher in size can fit at the clathrates. These are non-stoichiometric compounds. Whereas interstitial compounds are those in which solids of certain particular materials are having empty spaces in between them. In that empty spaces, small atoms like wide atom is going to be present with the helium or the neon. Such kind of compounds are said to be the interstitial compounds. Due to small size, clathrates are not formed by the helium and the neon. These are eligible for the argon and argon onwards. Whereas interstitial compounds are generally formed by smaller atoms like helium. There are some special properties for helium. On cooling, helium liquefies and at 4.2 Kelvin it is converted to liquid, and this is said to be helium of phase 1 liquid. This is having normal liquid properties. On further cooling, what happens is phase 2 it reaches to the another physical state. It reaches to the another characteristic properties containing situation, that is said to be helium 2, and this is said to be the superfluid because it is having superconductivity and it is having 100% of fluid behavior, and it migrates from bottom to top just like a gas. Such kind of properties containing natures are present for the helium on very low cooling, hence it is said to be superfluid. Yes, as we discussed about the compounds of the xenon, xenon combines with the more electronegative elements like fluorine, like oxygen, and a chemical combination with fluorine and oxygen at once. That is, fluorides it can form, oxides it can form, and at the same time it can form oxyfluorides. Important fluorides are xenon difluoride, xenon tetrafluoride, xenon hexafluoride, and important oxides are xenon trioxide and the xenon tetroxide. Similarly, oxyfluorides, xenon oxytetrafluoride, xenon dioxydifluoride, xenon oxydifluoride, xenon dioxytetrafluoride, xenon trioxydifluoride. These all are the important compounds of the xenon related fluorides, oxides as well as oxyfluorides. Let us go for the hybridization as well as the shape of the things first, then we will go for the physical and the chemical properties followed by the uses. The hybridizations and the structures related to the fluorides, oxides as well as oxyfluorides. The first ones are fluorides. This is xenon difluoride. Xenon is having total 8 electrons. Out of 8 electrons, 2 are involved in chemical combination. Remaining 6 are present. Those 6 are present in the form of 3 lone pairs. So therefore, the number of lone pairs present on the central atom xenon are another 3. Whereas that is a triatomic molecule xenon difluoride. If I go for the N value for the hybridization, that is N is equal to group number of central metal atom plus number of monovalent atoms by 2, that will becomes equal to 5. Out of this 5, 2 are connected, remaining 3 are present in the form of lone pairs, hence it belongs to the category of AB to E3 type of category, AB to E3 type of category, whereas here 2 sigma bond connectivities are there. 2 sigma bonds, if they want to be present, it is always attains the linear shape, hence it belongs to the category of linear category. Structure is present like this. And the second fluoride is xenon tetrafluoride. Out of 8, 4 are participated in sigma bonds, remaining 4 are present in the form of 2 lone pairs. So therefore here the number of lone pairs are 2, whereas n value calculation, n is equal to 8 plus 4 by 2, 12 by 2 is equal to 6. 6 implies here it is sp3 d2 hybridization. Out of this sp3d2, and this is sp3d hybridization. Hybridization is sp3d, n is equal to 5. 5 implies sp3d, this is sp3d2. Out of this sp3d2, 4 are connected and remaining 2 are present with the 2 lone pairs on the xenon, that is AB4E2 type, and it is having square planar structure. It is having square planar structure. And next one is xenon hexafluoride. In that 6 electrons are participated in chemical combination, remaining 2 are present in the form of a lone pair. So therefore n value is, that is 8 plus 6 by 2, that is 14 by 2 is equal to 7. 7 implies sp3d3 hybridization. This is sp3d3, this is sp3d2, and this one is sp3d hybridization. Out of those 7 varieties, 6 are involved in chemical combination, another one is present in the form of a lone pair. This is distorted octahedron structure. Octahedron in which one lone pair is present is said to be distorted octahedron structure. Let us go for the oxides, that is xenon trioxide, that is central metal atom xenon 8 plus 0 by 2, that is 4, n is equal to 4 implies sp3 hybridization, whereas in sp3 hybridization 3 are connected. See, this is belongs to the category of AB3 E1 type. Another one is present in the form of lone pair because it forms 3 sigma bonds, 3 pi bonds. Remaining 2 electrons are present in the form of 1 lone pair. Hence it is AB3 E1 type. Pyramidal is the geometry. Whereas xenon tetroxide, xenon followed by 4 oxygens, 4 sigma bonds, 4 pi bonds. N value is 8 by 2 is equal to 4. So therefore, out of 4 sigma bonds, hence it is belonging to the category of AB4 and it is tetrahedral in geometry. Now let us move our discussion towards the oxyfluorides. Yes, the xenon oxyfluorides, whereas some of them are derivatives of the xenon fluorides itself. Xenon hexafluoride, by removing 2 fluorines by 1 oxygen, that is xenon oxytetrafluoride. By removing another 2 fluorines by oxygen, xenon dioxydifluoride. Similarly, xenon tetrafluoride by removal of 2 fluorines by oxygen, xenon oxydifluoride, and others are xenon dioxytetrafluoride and the xenon trioxydifluoride. These are the total 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5 varieties of xenon oxyfluorides are present. Now let us go for the hybridization and the shape and the structure related to the xenon oxyfluorides, similar to that of xenon fluorides as well as xenon oxides. Here's the shapes of xenon oxyfluorides. The first one is derivatives of the xenon hexafluoride. Those are xenon oxytetrafluorides, xenon dioxydifluoride, and the third one is the derivative of xenon tetrafluoride, that is xenon oxydifluoride, and remaining two are the special cases, that is xenon dioxydifluoride and the xenon trioxydifluoride. Let us go for xenon oxytetrafluoride. In that n value is calculated and it is found to be 8 plus 4 by 2, that is 6. 6 implies sp3d2 hybridization. Whereas in this sp3d2 hybridization, 5 sigma bonds are there and remaining one is pi bond followed by, that is 5 plus 1, 6 are participated, remaining 2 are present in the form of lone pair, that is AB5E1 type of category. If it is AB6, it will be octahedral. Now it is one of the octahedral related atom is removed. Now it belongs to the category of the square pyramidal. And second one, xenon dioxydifluoride, N value is found to be 5. n value is found to be 5 implies here out of that 5, 4 sigma bonds it is forming and 1 pi bond, 4 plus 1, 4 sigma bonds followed by 2 pi bonds combinations are there with the oxygens. 4 plus 2, 6 are participated in the chemical combination. Remaining 2 are present in the form of one lone pair, hence it is AB for E1. If E1 is not there, it will be what? Trigonal bipyramidal with one lone pair of electron. It is known as seesaw shape, and the particular shape appears to be like this. That is xenon connected with oxygens with the double bonds, followed by in one plane, followed by 2 fluorine atoms. One is above the plane and other one is below the plane, is said to be seesaw shape. And next one is xenon oxidifluoride. N value is found to be 5. Out of 5 here, 3 sigma bonds it is forming, 1 pi bond it is forming. Total 4 are participated. Remaining 4 electrons are present in the form of 2 lone pairs. If these are not lone pairs, it will be AB5 type. AB5 type implies trigonal bipyramidal. It is a derivative of trigonal bipyramidal in which 2 connectivities are not there, hence it belongs to the form of T shape. The particular shape is of T shape appearing in the form of T. Here xenon at the central followed by double bond oxygen, and these 2 lone pairs are present in one plane, and these 2 fluorine atoms are present, one above and the one below the plane. Next is xenon dioxide tetrafluoride. N value is 6. 6 implies sp3d2 hybridization. Out of 6, here 6 sigma bonds it is forming. So therefore this is AB6. 6 sp3d2 hybridization. Out of sp3d2 hybridization, 6 sigma bonds it is forming, hence implies it is octahedral geometry. Whereas here 2 oxygens are there. This is oxygen and this is oxygen. There is no lone pair, hence it belongs to the octahedral regular geometry. In the next case, xenon trioxidifluoride. N value is found to be 5. Out of 5 sigma bonds it is forming, and 5 sigma bonds followed by here 3 pi bonds, 5 plus 3, 8 are participated. There is no lone pair, hence it is AB5 type trigonal bipyramidal. On the planar 3 oxygen atoms are present, one present fluorine above and another fluorine is present below the system. Thus, wherever the 6 comes, that is sp3d2 hybridization. Wherever 5 comes, this is sp3d hybridization. sp3d hybridization. This is sp3d2 hybridization, and this is sp3d hybridization. Thus, xenon oxytetrafluoride is having square pyramidal in shape. Xenon dioxidifluoride is having seesaw shape, otherwise distorted trigonal bipyramidal shape. And xenon oxidifluoride is having T shape, and xenon dioxytetrafluoride is having octahedral without any deviation. Xenon trioxidifluoride is having trigonal bipyramidal shape. These are the shapes related to the xenon oxyfluorides.